Good. So listen, welcome everyone. We've got a very powerful 30 minutes ahead of us, so we're going to get cracking now. My name's George. I help brands solve for some of the challenges they face across the customer lifecycle. That's me there. I help brands solve for some of the challenges they face across the customer lifecycle using technology, which is hopefully ours, but also the smart use of data, which is hopefully yours.
And hi everyone, I'm Andrea. I'm the Director of Customer Success, and it's my distinct pleasure to be looking after a team of absolutely incredible legends whose role it is really to implement, activate, and ultimately deliver some of the incredible results, some of which you'll see here today. And so I'm very excited to be able to introduce you to three of our best trailblazers who will today be talking a little bit about how data has transformed the way that they use, engage at all stages of the customer lifecycle. So we're talking awareness, we're talking consideration, we're talking acquisition, all of these things that I'm sure that you're very familiar with. And so, Kim from Vaultbank here, and I've got John from Medibank and Michelle from the Warehouse Group. Who's excited?
Yes. So firstly, welcome everyone. Welcome to the fourth industrial revolution. The digital age and the era of the connected device are bringing companies and customers together like never before. You've all seen this slide before, I'm sure, and it really applies to all B2C or B2B verticals as well. Traditional brands are having market share nibbled away by, smaller challenger or disruptor brands who are able to enter markets and really leverage data and technology to reach that consumer faster than ever before. And we've reached this tipping point where the days of the anonymous consumer are numbered. Never before have we shared so much information with the brands that we do business with. And we've reached, I guess there's this trade-off happening with those brands, and we're saying this: if I trust you with my identity, then I trust that you will do everything in your power to treat me as if you know me. Now, in our recent State of Marketing report, 76% of consumers actually expect companies to understand their needs and expectations. This is really becoming table stakes for any brands out there. And then just to put the scale of the challenge into some context for you, 90% of the world's data that's ever been created has been done so in the last 2 years alone. By next year, there'll be 50 billion devices, and actually almost 7 devices per person, and that number's absolutely huge. But I guess for any marketers in this room, in any way, shape or form, which I'm hoping is a lot of you, I say to you this: what a time to be alive. Because never before have you experienced such opportunity to connect with your current and your future customers in ways that are unique and innovative and bold as well. And there's always a but, I guess, it's a challenge. How are you meant to make any sense of that sort of, all those different devices out there? And so I would suggest when you work with a top partner like a Salesforce, we can help you really build out some of that, that technology foundation and take some of that pain away from you so that you can concentrate on what's important to you guys, and that's delivering those business outcomes across your customer life cycles.
So it's pretty clear from those numbers that the world today runs on data. And at Salesforce, we believe that data can be a real tool to building trust. And when you're listening, you might be thinking, how would I go about doing that? Well, when you're actually listening to your customers, and when you're respecting what their wishes, and when you're earning their consent appropriately, you can build and power some of the most incredible end-to-end customer experiences. And that's across devices and across channels, and ultimately across the entire customer lifecycle. Now, with this incredible opportunity for mass personalization, we have greater demands than ever before on transparency and security. Some of you may have heard Brett Taylor in the previous, in the keynote, talking about a data crisis that we're in. Well, the graphic here behind me depicts some of the most significant data breaches that we've had over the last couple of years. So, let's just take a second. That's a big number. That is a lot of people, right? So in this environment, how do we actually offer up some amazing, highly personalized customer experiences while fostering trust in our customers that we're going to keep their privacy and data safe? Tell me, George.
Well, Andrea. So, any good data management platform, or DMP for short, of course, worth its salt, will really be looking to build with identity at its core, because how else can you begin to deliver on this personalized experience if you don't know actually who owns all those different devices that we've talked about? And so what we do in the DMP is we have this unique persistent ID that I guess represents a person in an anonymized state. And we begin to ingest all those different devices against those IDs. And then we take the great ocean of data points that exist and we begin to ingest those as well into this big melting pot. And then we take we work with you as brands and we take your silo data that exists across all your owned and non-owned channels, online and offline, and we really bring these against these IDs. And once we have that, we can really start to build out an idea of where the population sits across your customer lifecycle from, I guess, awareness, acquisition in that future customer state, all the way through to advocacy. And once we know that, we can then begin to speak to these people in one-to-one personalized ways. And we call that the know, personalize, and engage model. And underpinning all of this, we built a clear and concise consent framework in place so that if you're going to deliver this customer-centric, personalized approach, you really need to be able to manage trust with your customers. And that's what the DMP has.
So today, I'm really excited to introduce you to these 3 incredible brands. We've got Bank on the stage here, which is Australia's first digital bank. And their business and some part of their challenge is about raising awareness. Then we've got Medibank. I'm sure a lot of you here probably have Medibank insurance in one form or another. And they're really interested in how acquisition works in their business. And finally, we've got the Warehouse Group, New Zealand's largest retailer, who are looking at how they're transforming their business and engaging with their customers across the entire customer lifecycle. So we've spoken enough. Without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Kim Koren, who is the Senior Digital Marketing Manager from Bank. Please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and share with you the Vault story with Salesforce DMP. So like you said, we are the first digital startup bank here in Australia to receive a banking license since the early 2000s. We started to create awareness and to connect with our customers by launching Vault Labs. Vault Labs is a co-creation community app in which you can partake in taking surveys, express your interest in events or book events, and then later down the track, you will help us testing products and other features, and there's much more to come in this. The intention of Vault Labs is basically to give the voice back to our community, to have them let us know what they want from a bank. What we want is actually to build the bank that actually makes the people better off, instead of a bank that does and offer you products that you're not looking for. A bank that can actually save you more time, but also protect your data. So as you know, every startup faces the great challenges in acquisition and scaling up. So when we started, we didn't have any awareness, and we're still working on the awareness piece. But we are nearly a stage of brand consideration. But the most paramount thing is the trust element. We need to gain trust first in order to actually create that awareness for our audiences. And so for Vault data and insight, that will actually drive value to our customers. So the data security, the privacy is critical for us. So this will actually help us instill the trust with our customers. And with that, part of that whole journey is also the trust of getting the community in, establishing that trust with the community. Because ultimately the community will share their values with us, their pain points and their insights, and with that we can tailor that to what we want from a bank. So if we look, so we underpin the trust in data, security, and in people, but also ultimately through our community, which enables us to actually build and listen, and ultimately build a better way of banking. If I look at the two companies, Salesforce and Force, we are pretty much aligned on the core values. And if the core values are the same, trust, innovation, then ultimately the customer is going to succeed. So, as every startup, you start off with a blank canvas. We didn't have any data ownership. with that, we had the greatest opportunity to actually build everything from the ground up with the best tech, with the best tools, and with the best people. And now the challenge is basically that data that we are gathering, that we start owning that data and accelerate it into the market. Now we have Salesforce DMP. We've set it up. We can actually control the data. We can manage the data as well and we adhere to our trust values, which we set into the DMP, such as transparency, such as the security controls. When we didn't have a DMP, we didn't own any of the data. So no data ownership, like I mentioned before, but you also be reliant on ad agencies for your target audience. That data is not verified as well. It's also not unique for Vault, and it has a low data trust for us. So ultimately, you might be spending more on your advertising dollars for ineffective messaging and campaign. Now with the DMP, we can actually build trust with the customer by ensuring that we send the right message at the right time and actually creating meaningful customer experiences. We also now own the data, and we can build out segments. We can actually suppress data that we don't want to use, and we can look for lookalikes. Again, we're building out our digital footprint, so over the time, also our data pool will grow. In December 2018, I had one audience data source coming into the segment. Now I have more than 5 data sources enriching this segment. I can also leverage on the CRM data that we have that's enriching the DMP as well, with Marketing Cloud Connect and all our social channels connected to Advertising Studio and the DMP. And I'm running search campaigns that also enriching the data in the DMP. All in all, building a platform and collecting data is not something you do overnight. But with the team at Salesforce, they were very flexible and very adaptive to our structure of a startup environment. And so in the end, we finished the whole implementation of the DMP in less than 2 months, and the setup of the Marketing Cloud Lite version in less than 5 weeks with Salesforce trusted partner PwC. And the full marketing stack included connected with DMP in less than 2.5 months. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Kim. Yes. They're not insignificant results, right? And I think that's testament to how Kim and her team, in partnership with us and also PwC, have been able to really help build their brand awareness and take their lifetime value and their time to value, so quickly, which is awesome. Next, I'm really excited to introduce you to Jonathan Goh, who's the Group Marketing Platform Lead for Medibank. So please, everyone, give him a really warm welcome.
Thank you. So I suppose Medibank doesn't need much introduction, and the Medibank Group is the largest private health insurance provider in Australia. We did have a challenge, however. How could we sell this into the CFO, and how could we make a compelling case for this amazing piece of kit? What we did was we decided to keep it simple. Key message was to reduce media spend year on year and deliver exponential efficiency. This is even more important for us because we are going a year of massive change with the private health insurance reforms. So, working with the Salesforce Solutions team and our agency, we took a really pragmatic ROI-based approach on this. We figured it was the only way we could really compellingly sell this into the business. 3 use cases: suppression. How do we stop members seeing acquisition ads, leading to a really poor customer experience? 2, how do we manage ad frequency at scale? Our members and our prospects get hit up with so many ads every day. How do we manage this compellingly? And how do we really kind of orchestrate a story for them? 3, media cost is always rising. Marketing is seen as a massive cost center. So how can we spend better and wisely? Enter Salesforce DMP. The DMP was really the answer to how we solve this acquisition problem. Now, with DMP, we have a unified data environment. In past, we had data everywhere, in little pockets and little silos. Now we've pulled all of that in to a singular pool. Our third-party data and audiences now live in a single repository where everyone has a single source of truth and makes it easy to build campaigns and have build audiences across our ad spend. Most importantly, we can identify members in real time. Trust is a massive issue for data and customer data. We, in real time, now can get that customer data as soon as they join and start suppressing them from any advertising, leading to a really poor customer experience. Again, cross-device identity matching. Everyone's got multiple devices. The DMP now allows us to stage that advertising and really isolate our ad spend to one single member or one single prospect at any time. I've already touched on the ability to manage frequency. We don't want people seeing too many ads if they're not going to buy. We don't want them seeing too many ads if they've just bought. We're just turning off the taps. And lastly, of course, is the change in the agency relationship, as Kim pointed out, really changing the dynamic with our partners. Instead of being just a one-way street, we're really just having a simple and honest conversation with the one piece of canvas. Everyone's looking in the DMP as a source of truth, and that's where our performance data lies. So how are we going? We're going well. 4 months in, it's starting to pay off for us. We've got really positive data governance now. Again, building on that trust, no more manual spreadsheets, no more emailing around data. It's just one single source of truth that gets updated, and everyone's got clarity on that. It's also automation magic. Used to take 3 weeks to just refresh current customers, making it a nightmare for media spend, making it a nightmare for targeting people. It's real time now across DMP and Ad Studio. So as soon as a member joins, straight out of the acquisition pools. Which leads then to a great customer experience, because once you've joined, you don't want to see that 6-week free offer hovering around, So we've now managed to stop that, and we can then stage manage that next part of the customer lifecycle journey. I've already touched on the agency partnership. It's really changed the way we talk to our partners, because it's now transparent. It's now on an equal footing because it's a real partnership. The performance data is centralized, and it becomes a common language for both sides. Lastly, of course, we want to keep the CFO happy here, and we're looking good. 4 months in, we're about 1.3 times over our targets. So that's keeping him on side, and also keeping our customers happy because they're not seeing too many ads. So lastly, where to next? We've got the kit in, it's in there, it's working for us. We're now, with the DMP, we can stop seeing fuzzy images of our customers. These are real people with real needs. Private health insurance is a little bit confusing in that we have policies. Within a policy, you have multiple members. So the DMP allows us to really nut out members and all their little pieces of data around them, so we can then attract, retain, and grow our membership base. So that's it.
Thank you, John. I mean, it's pretty clear that you can't necessarily have an effective acquisition strategy without having a DMP to take all of those different data assets and make sure that you can combine them in the one place and have those effective conversations with the customers. And we're super excited. I mean, 1.3 times ROI, that's in, we've only been working together a couple of months here and there, and that was on a really small test. So the opportunity is so incredible and so exciting. I, for one, obviously am pumped. So finally, I'd like to introduce you to Michelle Anderson from the Warehouse Group, who's their Chief Digital Officer. So please join me in welcoming Michelle. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Andrea and Geordie, for the opportunity to be here today to share our journey to customer centricity. So a little bit about the Warehouse Group, because I'm conscious I'm talking to a largely Australian audience. So we're New Zealand's biggest retailer. We're a portfolio of brands and represent about 12% of the retail sales in New Zealand. We have customers across different journeys, B2B, B2C. We play in a whole range of different customer categories, from outdoor to tech to general merchandise apparel. We have a strong bricks and mortar presence, 258 stores nationwide, and a large online presence. In fact, our warehouse site is the largest retail site in New Zealand. In terms of scale, we have over 2 million people come through our doors in every week. And when you think about this and you think about the amount of data that we can actually collect on our customers, you realise the strategic asset that we're sitting on and the role a DMP can play in enabling us to activate against that data. So our vision as an organisation is to deliver a fully scaled and integrated marketing capability that not only delivers for our customers across their various need states or journeys or missions, but also delivers for our portfolio of brands and our shareholders and the communities that we work in. So we don't want to just turn up. We want to really understand our customers and, of course, deliver them the right message in the right channel at the right time. So how do we take that vision and wrap it up into a strategy? Well, I'm a marketer, and I'm sure there's lots of other marketers out there in the audience. And so we wrapped ours up in an acronym, AMPT. And powering our strategy, we have data running through the heart of it. So I'll just talk about the pillars first, and then we'll go a bit deeper into the DMP and the role that it plays. So the first part is about customer activation and engagement. It really is ensuring that every touch point we have with our customers in our brands is personalised and relevant to them, and ultimately driving to lifetime value for those customers, because at the end of the day, we do need to make a profit. Right-sizing our media mix is an important part of our strategy. Previously, we've played a really down deep in the funnel looking at conversion. Now we're going broader and understanding our audiences from awareness through consideration all the way through. So more targeted media, understanding customers, less mass market. Building our brand perception and strength is another key pillar, and of course creating those great connections. E is for customer experience. So we have journey maps across all our brands, right down to different levels. And so being able to use the power of data to connect the customer journey, no matter what the touch point is, whether it's in-store or online or via our app, is really, really important to us. And lastly, a bit like Jonathan's point, we are all about driving ROI. We want to understand how every dollar that we spend into our marketing media delivers the return out the other end. So what we had to do to deliver this vision and strategy is actually transform how the marketing organisation works within our group of brands. About 12 months ago, we were actually a fully fragmented department. We had 4 departments. We had a marketing team for each of those brands. We had 6 media agencies running it. We had several platforms. We were very, very product-led, so merchandise was leading our business. As I said, we were playing pretty much totally in the conversion part of the media mix funnel, and we had some metrics, but nothing that we could, as a group, unify alongside of and deliver to. So moving forward 12 months later, what do we look like now? We're a fully integrated marketing team. So what that means is we still have our brand teams that have that really tight connection with the brand and its personality and those customers and categories that it sells. But running alongside that in our marketing centre of excellence, we have functional teams that deliver the capability required for the strategy. So for example, we have a customer lifecycle team who live and breathe in the DMP looking for audiences. They've now got the benefit of not having fragmented data sets across the different brands, but a unified view of our customers. And if you think how we play across those 4 brands, being able to take cues from one or insights from one of those brands and leverage that information in another is an incredibly powerful thing to have. As I said, we're focused on lifetime value of the customer. So looking at the messaging and the creative for the audience, depending on where they are in the journey, really, really works in terms of driving ROI. And we're seeing similar results, if not higher, than what Medibank are doing. Media planning and buying, we are looking for lookalikes. We're driving efficiencies now with our media mix by being able to manage the reach and frequency across the brands and find the right audiences. And lastly, we've doubled down on return on investment. So we have full econometric modelling across our media spend and full multi-touch attribution that really helps us understand the value of our tools and how we deploy them into market. So this is a quite complicated and messy slide, and the person who created this might be in the audience today, I'm not sure. We are a full Salesforce house, so we have Commerce Cloud there powering our websites. We have Service Cloud sitting in our Customer Engagement Centre, Marketing Cloud delivering the messages to our customers across the various digital channels, and then other things sitting within our ecosystem, such as Google Analytics and DoubleClick as our ad server. The point I want you guys to take from this slide, and it's quite hard to see, but the middle bit what's in the middle of this is the DMP. The DMP is the brain that takes the signals in from all of those different areas of the business and then helps us understand the customers where they are in the journey and get the right message out to them. So an example here of a customer life cycle for one of our brands, Noel Leeming, which is a consumer electronics business, not similar to Harvey Norman's or JB Hi-Fi. So we have customer journeys for all of our brands. This one here maps out the moments that matter for a customer and where we need to show up and where we need to show up well. So, for example, in the Noel Leeming business, we've used our audience data to understand if a customer's bought a certain product, how can we give them a great post-purchase experience where they might want to add, so if they've got a television, they might want a sound bar to go with it. It helps us identify audiences that have a particular passion for a certain brand, let's say Apple, for example. So how can we go to those customers with the right message around new Apple services or products? So when we look at how a DMP affects our overall return on investment for our marketing mix, it plays a really, really key role. So just talking theoretical numbers here, let's say we put $10 million worth of money into media. At the moment, or pre-working with the DMP, we were thinking that that money was actually behaving like about $7 million. So we've been able to drive efficiencies through the various points of our delivery life cycle to understand and actually increase our return on investment. So we've got efficiencies from our media planning and buying. So we understand our reach and our frequency caps, and we can negotiate better. I mentioned creative versioning, so finding the right audience and the right part of the journey and putting different types of creative out there is actually delivering great results as well. In the heart there you can see the DMP, so not only utilising our own data across the portfolio of brands, but actually other data that we can bring in really delivers and helps us increase our return on investment. And then, of course, I've spoken about the multi-touch attribution. So the Warehouse Group is really at the heart of it about helping Kiwis live their life better. And we're on a big transformational journey to do this, powered by the technology that we're on. So the role that the Salesforce DMP plays for us really helps us understand our customers and build great relationships with them for being there in those moments that matter. So that is all powered by the DMP, and it's a great and exciting journey to be on.
Thanks, Michelle. Gosh, I love that phrase, data and DMP as the brain of everything we do. That's I love hearing that. I hope it's clear to everyone that and we've loved partnering with Michelle and her team on delivering some of this 2019 value. So thank you for being an amazing partner of ours, and we really appreciate the opportunity to help you deliver all of these personalised engagements across your entire life cycle, and being able to engage with your customers along the way. So a huge round of applause, please, for our amazing speakers today. I hope you've heard enough a little bit about awareness and how DMP's really helped Kim consolidate some of her efforts, start to target unique and differentiated audiences separate to that of her competitors. You've heard from John on acquisition and how DMP is really key to being able to have those one-to-one engagements. And then you've heard from Michelle about how that's really transforming across a bunch of different metrics, their entire organization. So George, what else have we got on today?
Yeah, guys, thanks again for coming here today. Just a couple of next steps for you. From 1 o'clock, if you go down to the campground and want to see a demo or anything around the DMP or Ad Studio, head down to the demo area and Pascal will be there, one of the teams, to help you out with that. We'll also be, the team and myself and the rest of the guys in the team will be here for the next 20, 30 minutes. So come and have a chat with us, please. And if you want to upskill yourself in the space as well, just head on to Trailhead and you can start finding a bit more about the DMP and upskilling yourself in these spaces. And also, if you really want to continue the conversation with us, we'll be, after World Tour, we'll be in a Planner restaurant, which is downstairs. So if you want a free drink and have a chat around DMPs, then we'll be down there. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you guys for your time.
Cheers.